I watched a video 2 nights ago that was 2 hours long, and I posted it up for my friends to see, and I thought, this is amazing advice in here. And they're like, but it's 2 hours. And you're like, yeah, but unfortunately that's where the gold is in here. It's like it can be summarized, but you would miss the point of what the person's saying.
Hey everybody, it's John Lamberton here alongside my good friend and business partner, Mr. Jason Brockman. We are here for another episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, where as always, it is our job to help you get more customers and make more money without just working harder. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this month's episode. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the ALB podcast, and we are honoured today, to have with us a very special guest, one of the stars of my first book, Big Ideas for Small Businesses.
Me.
He was name checked in a couple of places in there, and he's been dining off it ever since. We are joined by Mr. Clarke Duncan. How are you, right?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you.
Good. So for those who haven't read Big Ideas for Small Businesses, you should, obviously. And for those that have, Clarke was my very first mentor. When I decided back in the summer of 2000 that I wanted to become one of these internet millionaires, these dot-com millionaires like Brent Hoberman and Larry Page and Sergey Brin, there were three slight problems with this. I was going to launch this internet marketing business, and the three problems I had was A, I'd never run a business before, B, I knew nothing about marketing, and C, I didn't have access to the internet. So I would not be here now without this man.
Which one did you give him?
I was going to say.
But for some reason, going back in the year 2000, when I got online for the first time, decided that I wanted to launch this business, I needed so much help because I knew nothing. For some reason, this man helped me out. So I am keen to delve into why the hell you did that, mate. And, well, to once again, thank you for doing that. Obviously, I did thank you in the book, but I wanted to do the same again. I was going to say face-to-face, but for those listening to the audio podcast, that's going to sound completely wrong. Mm-hmm. So thinking back to that, like, what's your recollection of kind of the summer of 2000, 2001, when we first started talking to each other?
Well, all I can remember from back in that time was we were hanging out with a group of like-minded people. We were all kind of on a forum, we're all chatting at night time, some of us working stupid o'clock, just trying to make something happen. And for me, even though we had similar websites and could technically be seen as competition, I didn't look at it that way. It's like Jason Dale's another person who somebody I really like, really thought his content was really good, and he was technically competition as well. But the thing about me and Jason had spoke with each other before the forum stuff happened, and we used to help each other out because we got approached by the same people, and I wouldn't call it price fixing, but it was just making sure we got decent value for what we were doing, and we didn't play off each other. We just kind of like, what did you get? What you get? Okay, great. Yeah, for me, it was basically a good chance to hang out with people who were doing similar stuff. I was learning things all the time. I was hoping you guys were learning stuff from me, and it actually helped inspire me to then go on and launch my affiliate network, because we all had kind of similar gripes and kind of industry issues and stuff like that. And it gave me a good opportunity to say, well, actually, yeah, I think I can do this differently. And I did. It's just that the mass market didn't want to go the correct way. They wanted to just do their own thing. So that's fair enough. Still doing okay. Still a good business. It's been going 18 years, I think it is. No, 17 years. Yeah, so...
I feel really old now, having remembered the day it launched. That's really interesting because, say, myself, you and Jason, we used to literally sort of sit in these dingy little bars in London and just swap notes. And you couldn't imagine, like, the CEO of McDonald's and Burger King just sitting down and saying, well, show me your books and how much did you get for this little deal? And how does that work out for you? But yeah,
how much do you pay for your BAPS?
BAPS.
Well, I mean, I think also as well, there was an element of we all work online and at home, and you don't really get to speak to anyone. And when you do speak to people, you start to tell them what you do, and they'll just zone out. They're like, especially back then, it was like, what's going on? That doesn't make any sense to me. So it was good speaking to you guys, especially when we had sort of similar issues as well. Similar things came up with affiliate programs and also just with their user base and stuff like that. And it was also interesting. I mean, the way I looked at it was, if I seen someone else do something similar to me, right, then it was fine for me to do something similar to them as long as we're all cool about it. And that was basically the way it was. It was like there was plenty of people on the, I mean, even back then, you know, when there was less people on the internet as there is now, there was still plenty of people around. There was still opportunities for us all to make money. And if I remember it right, in different keywords were like 1, 2, and 3, basically. If it wasn't me, it was you or Jason or vice versa, you know. It was just, you know, it was always kind of rotating around us who had what keywords. And yeah, I don't know, I've never ever looked at things on the basis of oh, I better not tell them my secret sauce, because I don't really think anything I'm really doing super secret that you couldn't learn if you just tried and worked at it. And sometimes it's better if someone's already done it before you and given you the kind of shortcut, the path to, oh yeah, try this, you know. And usually the type of people that if something didn't work, then I'd be like, well, I'm just not going to bother trying, because if it's not working for them, it's not going to work for me, you know. Unlike, you know, when you hear quite a lot of people, oh yeah, it doesn't work, you know, and you're like, yeah, but you probably didn't try it. And you can tell, kind of like when you hear people say something doesn't work, it's like it didn't work for them on that specific one thing that they tried one time, and that's the end of it. You guys weren't like that. It was like, okay, that didn't work, we'll try this. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, and then you find something that did work, and you shared with me. So I always thought, well, you know, it was not causing me any harm at all. I couldn't see any harm. I mean, I did see other people coming up who wouldn't share a thing and were quite happy to take everything from you. But what they got from me, what they done back, and that was nothing. I just not interested, you know. It's like, whereas, like I say, it was, I don't know what it was back then as well. I think there was a different vibe as well, even with the affiliate circles, you know. Everybody who I knew started from basically zilch, you know, and grew a business, and that made it different. You know, there was no big money coming in. There was no, you know, people with daddy's money to set them up, you know, or anything like that. It was just, everybody was just, let's get out of a crappy situation and make a better situation for ourselves.
It wasn't corporate either, was it? It was no. Kind of fairly relaxed, and as you say, dingy pubs. I mean, I joined John in April Fool's Day 2003, and I think my first excursion into the world of affiliate marketing was a limo around London, which of course you were part of.
Limo Club.
The Limo Club.
Yeah.
And that was
kind
of unknown, wasn't it, really? So it was a fantastic day of going around ranting at everybody. I think it was pretty much how it was summed up, but that was my first excursion into this wonderful world of affiliate marketing.
So you basically had, to explain what Limo Club was, you had like 12 affiliates, people who, you know, work on a commission-only basis, hired a limo and decided to drive around all the affiliate networks, which were all based in London. And in this limo were 12 businesses who pretty much all competed with each other. And yet we all just sat in that same limo, and we rocked up to these affiliate networks, who of course can't stand each other. And we got on a united front. And it was right, what are you guys doing about, I think spyware was the big issue of the day.
That's right, yeah. I mean, spyware literally didn't get a grip in the UK because of that particular thing. In America, it's rife. You know, it's like in America, they act like, unfortunately, the Americans, and this is very generalizing, but basically spyware makes a lot of money, so therefore they're all good guys because they make lots of money. And I believe one of the things that I said back in the day was, can you just imagine if Marks and Spencer's paid for that billboard and along came some other company and just put it right over the top, didn't pay a penny, and directed all the traffic to them? Do you think they'd be outraged? Of course they would. So that's what's happening to us affiliates. So let's make sure that doesn't happen. And everybody was really responsive, I have to say. You know, it's like, there were obviously some of them were sitting looking at they were going to lose quite a bit of money, so they, you know, wanted to hold it off as long as possible. But the majority were like, yeah, I can see it's pretty scummy. So yeah, okay. But they had, it was this, if it wasn't for that group united, because a lot of them seen us as all competitors, and they're going, wow, they're all together to stop this. Well,
it's really strange the kind of receptions you kind of got with the different networks as well. It was like champagne and canapes at one, and then there was jam jars with coffee in another, and it was it was really quite interesting, the reception that we received.
I have to say, I was quite, I'd also started my network at that time. I think it was like a year going. So it was kind of like, one of them said, "Oh, is it not very duplicitous of you? You run a network." And I said, "Well, not really, because at the end of the day, if you don't want me to be an affiliate of your network, oh no, we're not saying that." Because this was back in the time when I was making quite a lot of money for quite a lot of networks. The days before coupon sites and cashback. But
yeah, we didn't get spyware. We got cashback and coupon codes instead.
Yeah, well, at least they're a legitimate business form. At the end of the day, they innovated and moved along and done their thing. Spyware was just complete scum. It was just stealing. It was infecting people's computer to steal money off of others, and it had to be stopped. And it worked. And Fraser Edwards, like I said, he was the guy who put it all together and made it happen. Obviously on the forum together, we all decided, yeah, let's do it. It was one of those moments you remember in business. You think, yeah, that doesn't happen in any other industry. Literally, no other industry would have done anything like that. It just wouldn't have played at all.
I don't think it would happen anymore either. I think it was just that one group of people, one different set of circumstances. I can't imagine it ever happens again.
I think a lot of that was to do with the fact that it was a fledgling industry. So everybody was new at it. Even the networks were new at it. It wasn't just the affiliates new at it. Everyone literally, hey, this internet thing and selling things online, this is quite cool. But everybody was growing their businesses. Networks the same. Some of them, like say, were more corporate, had money behind them. Others started quite similar to us in the sense that they didn't have lots of money to begin with, but they built up a business. And you can see that with different approaches and also the different attitudes of staff as well. And you've seen that over the years. I'm nothing against freshly graduated marketing students, but I just love it when someone who's just graduated like a couple of years ago comes on and tells you how you should be doing your website for affiliate market, and you're going, okay, that's not the approach. Helping me out, brilliant, but telling me I'm doing it wrong when you've never done it in your life and got no clue. Wait a little while before you start saying that, and then when you wait a little while, you soon realise, yeah, that's not the approach to take with anyone. It's be there, support them, help them, but don't outright tell them that they're doing something wrong when they're clearly making more money than you are.
There's no better way, I think, to get me to shut down than to tell me I'm doing something wrong. Because am I now? Oh, okay, yeah, fine. Yes, thank you for your input. Yeah, lovely.
John, you're doing it all wrong. One thing I like about you, Clarke, is obviously we've known you for a long while, but actually I think you've run many businesses. That's fair to say, but I think your role in the business or your role in the company or however is as opportunity hunter, because, for example, you alluded to a moment ago, Paid on Results was born out of the opportunity that some networks weren't doing things in a way that was right, proper, missing out on different areas, and you built the network up from the ground up with the affiliates in mind and actually servicing those needs which the other networks weren't doing. That was born out of opportunity, not born out of need or requirement or anything like that. It was born because you spotted that opportunity. And I know all the way through, and I know even when you joined the 1% Club, now that's because you found another opportunity which you kind of wanted to do. So, how do you go and find these opportunities? What is it you're...
I don't know if I go about finding opportunities. I think basically I start seeing a set of circumstances and try to work out, well, is there any money in this? Is there something that I can do that can get it that other people aren't doing? And, and like people say this all the time, but if you're solving problems for people, you tend to make money quite easily compared to making up something that you have to convince people they need. So that's most of where things happen. Some businesses, like I've got which is very different from everything I do. I've got a roads and construction training business, which I've run with my father-in-law, and that was an opportunity born out of the fact that he had a business that unfortunately failed due to basically he and the other trainers were great trainers. They were really, really good at it. They just weren't really good at running a business. And everybody got paid first but them. And eventually people couldn't get paid, and that caused that to collapse. But I could see how it could be run a different way. Try to convince my father-in-law to run it the different way to start with was really hard, because he's like, oh, we need an office. And I'm like, why do we need an office? Oh, but we need one. I said, why can't we just train on site? Why don't we just go to the councils? This is, in fact, will that not make us even more attractive to the Highland councils, who have to spend an absolute fortune to send all their staff down? Whereas if we send one person up, it's cheaper for them than sending 10 people down. And he's like, but to sell it to them, if you've not got an office. I says, well, I've got an office. We'll just tell everybody that the office in Queen Street's the office, but we train on site. And that's what we do. So that's what we done. And that saved a fortune, which then allowed us to, when we do the training, more of the money got to stay with my father-in-law, the trainer. And then we got to hire another trainer. Then we ended up hiring his wife to help him with the admin stuff, because, oh, I need a secretary. And I'm like, well, you don't need a secretary. What you need is somebody to organise your paperwork and stuff. So I'm like, well, what about, my mother-in-law? I was like, what about her? She's in the same house as you. She knows what's going on. She'll organise you a bit better. And then it'll be a ear on the ground for me to know what's going on as well, because unfortunately, my father-in-law kind of forgets to tell me really important things, like, oh yeah, I'm going to be doing training here and I'll need to invoice that person. And I don't find out about it till like a couple of weeks after, where he goes, oh, have you invoiced so-and-so? And I'm like, didn't tell me. So that is definitely a different business. Running a family business, it's good that you get to keep the money in the family. It's also stressful because you can't fire anyone. You can't fire my father-in-law. My wife won't be too happy with that. But equally, it's interesting because the dynamic changes as well in a family business. Because I'm the son-in-law, but I'm also the boss, and I also make the decisions on, what you get paid and what money there is and so on. And I run businesses a lot different from he does. Like you've got to have 6 months worth of money in the bank for paying everyone, and should always aim to keep that. And obviously it will fluctuate. It'll go down to 3 months, sometimes be a bit more. But the idea is to sustain having the same pay every single month, as opposed to feast famine, which is what he was used to, where it's like, yay, lots of work in, whoa, money, oh no, there's no work in, then the famine starts. So there is, it can be, but I have to say this, he kind of lets me just do it the way I want to do it, because it's worked. Never not had to pay anybody. Everybody's been paid on time. In fact, because he used to say to me stuff like, oh, I know a really good factor. He'll give us the money up front, blah, blah, blah. And I go, okay, well, let's have a look at that. I'd never heard of factoring before. Have a look at it and go, right, so they want 10% of all of our money to give us money that we're going to get in advance. Yeah, but it means we've got the money for the cash flow. And I says, yeah, but it's councils. Councils don't run away and don't pay you. Councils pay you. It's just sometimes they can take 90 days to pay you. In Scotland, it's changed. I don't know what if England's changed, but in Scotland, there's a new law for small businesses, and basically councils can't be seen to not pay a small business within 30 days because of the knock-on effect and all the rest of it. It can cause a business to go out of business. So nowadays, it's very, very easy. But when we first started, there was councils literally, you do a job for them and you get the money 3 months later. And that the cash flow situation then was, well, I just put all my money in. Well, I say all my money, I put a set amount. I said, right, 10 grand's what I'm putting into this business. That's it, not a penny more. If I lose it all, tough luck me. If I get it back and make profit, great. Obviously I'm not just sticking money willy-nilly into businesses and hoping for the best. I've kind of looked at it and went, very good high chance here that I can make quite a bit of money, but I have to risk some. But I'm, what do they say, risk aware, not risk aware. What's the word where you're basically, you don't want to put too much money in and keep sticking it in? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So I kind of look at it and go, right, well, here's extra money that I've got that I can stick in something. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, then just walk away. And that's it, But I'm in a situation where I've got other businesses, so I can afford. It's like, to me, you just kind of do stuff. I've always been on the basis of just because something's working great doesn't mean sit back and do nothing. It means keep working at it, do other stuff, because the great thing, especially in technology and online, can change with, the stroke of a pen from some bureaucrat somewhere decides, right, this new law about cookies that's going to destroy everything. And then, of course, they realise internet won't work with them, so they kind of backpedal on it. And then you're okay again. And then the next minute you've got a new thing coming in, and it's like, and then it could be the business gone, and it's not. And so I like to have a little bit more stability by going, well, here's a couple of businesses that don't rely on that sector. They may be online, but they do a different thing, or whatever. And that's the way I've kind of done it. It does mean I end up working a lot more. I see lots of posts all the time where people say, my one thing my blah, blah, blah regretted when they were older was, they were working all the time. Well, I do work a lot, right? But I do have a lot of time for my family and my kids and doing stuff as well. But I also fill up my time with doing more work because I enjoy it. It's not like I actually think, I'm doing work. It's back-breaking, painful stuff. I'm sitting at a desk looking at videos and looking at ideas and things and coming up with things and trying things out. It is not hard. It's just that it can be quite time consuming sometimes, especially I watched a video 2 nights ago that was 2 hours long, and I posted it up for my friends to see, and I thought, this is amazing advice in here. And they're like, but it's 2 hours. And you're like, yeah, but unfortunately, that's where the gold is in here. It's like it could be summarized, but you would miss the point of what the person's saying to actually take that forward for you. But
do you watch videos on normal speed, or do you speed them up?
No, I watch them in normal speed, mostly because I
watch on normal speed now, because I've listened to podcasts and audiobooks on 1.5, 1.7 speed now. I can't watch a video. It's like, it's a 2 hour video. Hang on, I can make that 1 hour 40. 1 second.
Well, one of it might be a bad trait, actually, is one of the things I am multitasking, doing stuff while I'm listening to the things as well. But then I'll pause and go, hang on a minute, that's quite interesting, I didn't know about this. And then I'll rewind it back and then listen to it again. And then, it's just because, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff is repetitive for me because I know it. It's the bits that are new to me, or I didn't think about it that way.
How do you avoid shutting down? So if you're listening to something, you think, I know this, I've heard all this before. How do you avoid shutting down and not taking in the new idea that actually you haven't heard before in amongst all the other stuff that you do know?
If it seems, within the first 10 minutes, if it seems like it's just basically going over the same ground I've done, I just won't even continue with it. Depending on the person who's speaking and what level they're at as well, you can tell really, really quickly, like when they start talking about really, really advanced stuff right off the bat, you're like going, right, this is not a beginner's thing at all. And this person knows what the hell they're talking about. Because I see a lot of stuff online where it's like, it's all geared towards start your first business, and that's fine. It's just that it's not for me. And very little comes out of start your first business talks for me. Whereas if someone's like, I've been doing this for 10 years, I spend 15 million on Facebook advertisement, and here's what I do. And they are selling another product as well. Like there's one that we listened to just now is Sam Ovens. I did not like him at all to start with. I didn't like the way he'd done his adverts. It was, even though he's from New Zealand, it was very American, and it was really cringy. And it was just like, and it was all the, hey, look at me, I've got a big fancy office with millions of stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, God, this guy's a dick, right? But it isn't actually, he was selling towards the people who are interested in that because he can make a lot of money from it. But when you actually watch his more boring stuff where it's just web, it's not even a webcam, it's not even on his face, it's just on screen the whole time, and it is literally dry as can be for the average person, then you're really listening to, this is the stuff you should be listening to, not the stuff where he's standing in front of, hey, look at me. But there's quite a few like that. I also listened to a guy called Alex Becker. I don't know if you've come across him. Yeah. He's really changed his tune. He used to be in the Gary V vein of things, and he does the same kind of things a lot of them do. You'll see like the big flashy Lamborghini. In fact, he was slagging himself off in his last video about the fact that sitting there with a Lamborghini trying to tell people to start a business, and he was just basically these people are idiots. And he goes, yeah, I know, I'm talking about myself too. That is what I used to be like, but it's not like that now. And he's now in the vein of, look, the best thing for business to grow it, get 8 hours sleep, have proper sleep, get his sleep in. Don't sit up, don't do what he used to do. Don't get me wrong, some of the things he does is a bit mental. Like, he'll get up at like 4 or 5 in the morning. He'll go to bed early, 9, 10, but still 4 in the morning. I'm like, that's an alien hour. I only seen that when I was a really young guy, and I was like out at a club. That was it. So
that was bedtime, wasn't it?
It's bedtime now as well. Bedtime now.
I think that's it's an interesting point. If you listen to anybody that's been running a business for, say, 10 years or more, and they've had some success, and you say to them, what should I do? I'm just starting my new business. What should I do? 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you, whatever you do, don't do what I did. Don't pull the all-nighters. Don't be hustling and grinding. Don't be doing this. And I said, but doing what you did got you to where you are now, and I want to be where you are now. It's like the guy, I'm reading some Charlie Munger at the moment, and he was asked at this talk, how can I achieve the kind of wealth you've got and accelerate that? And he said, so basically you're looking at some rich old guy and saying, how can I get what you've got, only quicker? He said, well, simple, just do what I did and cut out all of the mistakes, all the stuff I did. He said, most of my wealth came down to 10 decisions I've made over the last 70 years. Just make those 10 decisions. Easy. Oh, and you need 6 decades of experience.
Yeah. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, when I started doing stuff, right? Okay, like, I was pulling all-nighters and stuff like that, but I was desperate to make it work because I wanted not to work for someone. It's like, I really don't want to do 9 to 5. Let's do 9 till fucking 12 at night, something crazy. It's like, but when you're doing something you actually enjoy, it does make it better. And that's another thing as well. I've kind of stuck to. I mean, everybody enjoys having money, but it's better if you enjoy having money by doing something you actually enjoy or like, or get on with. Like, one of the things that's really big for me is like, just now I've hired quite a lot of staff from abroad to work on new projects, but there's 2 rules that I really, really go by. One, be truthful to me, because I'm not sitting there with you, so tell me the truth. If you have to go off today because you're going to go and, I don't know, to grandma's birthday or whatever, just say it, don't kid on, so that's one thing. The other thing is, actually, what is the other thing? I just totally forgot there, blanked. Trustworthiness is like really important to me. But the people who I work with, right, they have to be nice. And I'm not interested in cutthroat people who are all like backstabbing their way up the company, right? I'm not interested in that. You have to be nice to each other. You have to get on with each other, especially if you're in a job where there's someone else in that job too, and could be seen as a natural competitor in the normal running of things. But I don't look at it that way. Like the dev team side of things, they all have to get on with each other, because what I said to them was basically, as this company grows, if mistakes happen or things go down, everyone will lose a job because of you, right? If you aren't actually on board with each other. So if something was to happen out of hours, one of them has to be ready to step in, but they have to know each other's code, and they also have to know, cover each other's back when it comes to work. Because like, you want to go on holiday, you want to have a week off. Well, that's fine just now when the company's growing, but when the company's really big and you're having a week off, you better make sure the other person who's doing your job as well, right, has you covered that whole entire week. Because if you go away a week and something that you caused to crash down results in half the customers leaving, you ain't got a job when you come back. The nicest possible way, but that's what it boils down to, is like, you've got to have reliable people, and they've got to get on with each other, and they've got to see everybody else as they have to be friends, but they don't have to see each other as competition. It's not if I do a better job than so-and-so, then I'm okay and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I want you to do a good job, but I want you to realise that if so-and-so needs a little bit of help or something, or can't do something, show them, help them. And then, you've progressed, you've learnt new skills, things have moved on. So yeah, trustworthiness and getting on with people really helps, because I like people, and I like them to be enjoying what they're doing as well. Don't get me wrong, you have to do work, you have to earn money, etc., etc. But if the work environment's crap, then I'm not interested. It's like, nah, bye. So yeah, it's like, it has to be good, because that's what I feed off and get to enjoy it and have the energy to do more stuff and want to think of more stuff. Like today, for instance, they were joking about how's that you come up with ideas from something that seems like a problem, and you turn it into making money. And I'm like, well, not always. It just seems that way when you focus on one or two things, like the Brexit thing, for example, just now. I know I'm not going to get political, but
so by the time this airs, mate, it's all sorted. It's fine.
Yeah, it's true. Could be. No, but like
this episode is coming out.
That there, right, was I looked at it as an opportunity, right? It's a pain. I live in Spain, right? Okay, and it's a pain that something like this is going on for us because it's a bit easier, but equally the people back in the UK voted. That's the way it is. So you just have to do what you can in the situation. And I just happened to realise that I could make money from it by exchanging driving licenses for British people in Spain. So that's what one of the businesses I've got does. It's a translating business. We do other translations as well, and we help them. And eventually, once whatever happens, we'll be making people, help them get legal and become proper residents of Spain, etc., if they're not already. And that's more money and more opportunity. But the focus just now is everybody does not want to do their Spanish driving test in Spanish. You can do the theory in English and Spanish, but the practical's only done in Spanish. So you don't want some Spanish guy shouting at you and don't understand what he's saying. So everybody's like, oh, well, let's get the licenses changed just now under EU rules. Everybody in all 28 member states 28, 27, can change their license for the local one without having to do a test. So up until the 29th, everybody who doesn't want to do a test in Spanish, contact me and we can do it, because even the British consulate turned around and said that in most areas you can't get your driving license changed because there's no appointments to June, whereas my company, me, and I don't even speak Spanish enough, but the two translators do. We're official affiliates of the DGT, which is it's called Trafico, which is basically the DVLA, and that allows us to, in bulk, bring up 30, 40 exchanges at a time instead of one or two, which everyone else has to do. And that was just working out what's the issue, how can we solve it, how can we make it easy for people, and then how can we take money off them to get it done. And that's it, And it's
everyone else has seen the problem, and you just said, well, if there's a problem, if people are having a problem, then if I can provide the solution to their problem, there's money to be made.
Yeah, definitely, and it's long term as well. I mean, just now we're thinking short term, where the driving license had to be done by the 29th, but we've done hundreds of them, and I think we're like 200 plus driving licenses now at €70 each time. But every single one of those people are now clients of ours. They're now in the database. They're now able to market it to when they need any translating help at all, whether they go into the doctors, the police, anyone at all. They can call on us. We can do that as well. Also, all these people in the database, well, they all have to change to the new system, whatever that may be. So it'll either be this year or it'll be next year, but it will happen at some point. And they all have to get new cards to be resident in Spain. Well, that's 2 appointments. That's quite a lot of money. And, all these people have used us for driving licenses. Hopefully they're happy with the service they got. I mean, the feedback's been great, but, you just have to wait and see how the driving licenses come back to everyone, because not everyone's had them back yet. Quite a few have, but not everyone yet. But basically, if they're happy with the service, then they'll go on to do the other things with us, and that could generate quite a lot of money. We've already employed an extra member of staff, so there's 2 people in, 2 main translators full-time employed. We've got one who's kind of part-time, helps us out. But yeah, and that was never meant to be the business I was going to do this year. That was never meant to be it. I had something else planned. I even was going to be doing podcasting, everything around podcasting, but YouTube videos. That all had to get shelved. You know, it was like, I did have a plan, but fortunately and unfortunately, another thing came up with a great opportunity that I could see, that I could maximize, and I had a time limit on it. So just went with that, and I can get back to the other stuff. It'll still be there for me. It's just, you know.
I think, obviously, Jason, you asked the question just now about how Clarke spots these opportunities. I think it's not so much spotting the opportunities, because opportunities are everywhere. It's identifying which opportunities to actually go for, which to ignore, and then actually doing it. Because if there's one thing I've heard more than anything else in my career, it's, yeah, I thought that. I was going to do that.
Yeah.
And you must have heard it as well, Clarke.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I say to people all the time, you know, what's the secret to running a business? And just fucking doing it. Just go do it. You know, it's like, and if you make mistakes, right, and you learn from them, then great. You're not going to do that again. If you make mistakes and keep making mistakes and never do a thing about them, then you're clearly not cut out for in the business. So just stop. But yeah, it's really just doing. Everything's just doing it and learning as you go. I mean, one of the good things about being part of the 1% Club is that I'm not an idiot, in the sense that I don't sit there and go, oh, I know everything, I've got a successful business. That's idiot talk. You know, you're never going to know everything. So the great thing about 1% Club is you can ask some really random questions, you know. I mean, I bet some people look at the questions I say and go, this guy's got a successful business, why is he asking this? And that's how you learn. That's how, you know, I've always believed that, you know. I would rather look stupid one time and know how to do it than not ask the question and be forever stupid. You know, that's just, it's the way I look at things, because, you know, it's just, you get a lot from listening to a lot of people, and you get even more by asking the questions.
Particularly if you ask the right questions, I think identifying what the right question to ask and who the right person to ask that question to is a skill in itself.
Yeah, it makes it easier. Like, I mean, I'm not here to sell the 1% Club, but everybody's...
Oh, please do. I don't mind.
It's much better if you do it than we do.
Everybody in there is running a business, right? And they're all at different levels. You've got also, I'm not going to name on, but you've got all sorts of levels of businesses there. And sometimes some of the feedback can come from the people who've got, I'm not saying the least successful business, but they're on their route to building something. And sometimes they can actually be the ones that, oh yeah, actually that makes sense. But the reason I'm more interested of asking questions in there and listening to the people in there is that no one really got an agenda. They're not out to sell you anything really. It's just kind of like, how do you do this? You know, and the majority of times people will be like, oh, you do this, and you're like, okay, it's not like A to Z of, oh, you do this following steps and away you go. It's kind of like highlights of, well, you get this and you get that. Then it's up to you to take that information and find out a bit more and actually action it, in which most people in that group do. Whereas in general Facebook, for example, most people, you know, will ask questions and you know they're not going to do anything with it. You know, they're just going to ask the question. But, you know, it's just one of those things. It's like, you know, yeah, it's just...
I think it's almost going back to like me, you and Jason sat in that dingy bar in London. It's that community of like-minded people who actually don't have an agenda other than the rising tide that lifts all boats. It's like, actually, if I can help you out and I can help Elaine or Alison or whoever or Tony out, then we all benefit. And then if Tony spots something that you could benefit from, Clarke, he'll share that with you. And all of a sudden someone spots that there's an awards that somebody could enter and there's a PR opportunity for somebody else. And people just help other people within that. And it is that community of, as you say, you know, like-minded people who actually don't have an agenda. They're not, this isn't BNI. We're not looking at, you know, you've got to refer so many people in or you've got to close so much business. It's just, we created the 1% Club to scratch our own itch. We wanted, you know, we'd exited the main business by that point and we wanted to help small business owners. We thought, well, we'll do this literally to entertain ourselves and to keep ourselves amused and to do something that we enjoy doing. That's why we launched the podcast. And now it's grown to the point whereby we can help lots of people. And also I think other people are getting the same, you know, other 1%ers are getting the same benefits we are because they're helping other people and they're growing and nurturing themselves as a result.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's like, so, I mean, I take it this podcast is the normal one that goes out to everybody who wants to listen. Yeah. So, I mean, like, if you are thinking about it, they've got 10 more days, something like that, to sign up. But, you know, I definitely would give it a go. I mean, like, I have to be honest, I was a bit skeptical at the start. You know, it was just basically, I thought, right, well, you know, for what it costs, I'll be able to pick the brains of Jason and John, and, you know, I'll get some value that way. But it turns out there's actually loads more value to get. And even like the coaching calls are great. I do feel sometimes there's me and a certain other person, I'm not naming names, right, but we kind of do.
She was on the last podcast.
we kind of do take over.
We'll give you your own show, and maybe everybody else in the coaching calls can have a chance.
No, I know, but the thing is, it's like the good thing about it is, I mean, I've talked about the one before, but basically, you know, like having the issue of being too popular and too much stuff happening is still an issue, regardless of, you know, like most people's issues are like, how do I grow my business? And then you get stuck in the situation. Okay, so past that part, I just went a little bit mental, and now I don't know how to really service all these people and getting feedback and ideas from people. I mean, I implemented loads of things the following day, well, that night and the following day. It really, really helped, but it was just basically getting all the ducks in the right row. Unfortunately, the plan was for that business was to get them right, and then basically it takes off, not for it to take off then, have to sort it out afterwards. But
ready, fire, aim. Yeah.
You know, but again, a lot of the feedback from that, I do believe that, I know for a fact that really helps me get to the solution of what I wanted quicker. I think I would get there, but it's so much faster if you can get other people to just say, yeah, this is a good idea. Oh, okay, I'll go try that and see, you know. And like with every idea, not everybody's idea is going to be stellar or amazing, but they're worth a try. You know, quite a lot of them is like, well, I'll try that. Okay, that worked great. Or it wasn't the best, but it wasn't worth a waste of time finding out if it was any good or not. It just means like, well, I know about that. Probably won't do that in future, but you know, I tried it. But from my case, it was quite lucky. It was a bunch of things that really, really helped. And yeah, so big thumbs up.
You're very good. I mean, you get the ducks in the order kind of thing. The systems and processes that you kind of put in place enabled you to do lots of things in your time in terms of in your various businesses that you kind of have. And one of those kind of things you had to do was get those systems and processes in place so you could move out of Scotland and off to Spain.
He's not from Scotland, is he? I never guessed that accent. I thought it was a Southern Spain accent.
Behave. Which was one of those things that you were able to do, because that was making sure that actually everything was in place so that the main business could continue to operate without you being in the day-to-day office and things. And that's the same through all of the businesses which you've kind of launched with.
Yeah, well, with that, first off, right, I've got an office for that business, Paying Results, which is in Glasgow, and I used to go in to the office, but I was more work at home, coming in once a week to basically disrupt and put everybody's productivity off, because it would be like I would talk to them all and they'd all be asking questions all the time, and that was fine. But working at home, I got more solid work done. I always got things done quicker. And the telephone system that we've still got this telephone system to this day. If someone rings the Glasgow office, it rings here in Spain, England, it rings in lots of different places, and you don't know who you're talking to. Right? There's only a handful of people in the office, whereas there's other people in different. We've got another member of staff actually who's actually in Spain as well, but you don't know. You've got no clue who you're speaking to, where you're speaking to them. You just, as far as you're concerned, they're all in the office. So we made that work by getting a really good telephone system. Telephone's not my thing. I would rather email people and then respond to them when I want to, as opposed to be interrupted non-stop. But we have to have a telephone system because people have to speak to someone occasionally, whether they realise they need to or not, they still want to. But yeah, so getting that in place was really good, and that works internationally. Work anywhere. I can just pick up a phone and take it with me, and it will work. It's great. The other things we had to sort out was we needed a smaller office because I had this stupid big office in the office. that I never even used anyway, like once a week. And then I'm moving away and I'm going, so we're paying 26 grand a year to rent an office. We ended up getting that, it's half that bill. So me moving away actually saved us money. But yeah, getting the systems in place was really important. We did have a lot of systems anyway for that particular business, but some of the other businesses we had to work out systems. Like the business with my father-in-law, it had systems, but it had systems that worked on the basis of he would be dropping off and delivering stuff to me, and then I would get sorted, and then he'd pick things up. Well, that all had to stop, and there had to be a way to do it. So we bought things like really powerful scanners that can scan like 100 pages in less than 30 seconds and all this carry on, just to speed up processes and make things, instead of, we looked at a lot of things and went, right, this is the way we used to do it, or this is the way we could do it. We can't do that anymore. What's another way we can do it? And just sort of work out, working those systems. Only one thing that's not really sorted out is I run all the IT of the companies, right? Or specifically paying results, and it's got quite a network and stuff inside the office, and I can remotely deal with a lot of the stuff. However, if there is a complete hardware failure, then like me and one other person could probably change it. Well, I know I can change it, but the other person probably could if I explained it to them. But it'd probably be quicker for me to jump on a plane, go over, just fucking do it, and then come back. So there is wee things like that where you have to take, and say, right, yeah, you can automate and get everything in systems as much as possible, but some things unfortunately do have right, okay, we've not really got a solution for that. We could pay a company a fortune to, watch the system, but they'd be doing nothing. I mean, literally nothing. And all they'd be doing is going and change it, but charges 10 grand a year to do that. No, that's not happening. It'd be cheaper just getting a flight and just going and doing it. And where I am in Spain, near the Alicante region, there's constant flights to the UK. I mean, it's like, because you've got Benidorm up the north end of things, which is super popular. So there's flights everywhere, and it's actually easier for me to get to business meetings in the UK from here than it was from Glasgow, which is mental, and cheaper sometimes as well. Not during the summer, but it's cheaper than during the off-season times. It's really cheap actually. So yeah.
What do you tend to do in the summer? Do you stay in Spain, or do you leave for the summer period? Because I know a lot of the Spanish, they find it's too hot there, and it's
August
forest for holiday makers.
August is really bad. Well, I say really bad. It's like if you've come for heat, then it's great, but it's like really, really hot. It can go up to 40 and stuff like that. But yeah, we mostly bunker inside with the air conditioning on, and yeah, we're fine. But we have a lot of family coming over. Like I thought that would stop by now. This is 4 or nearly 5 years, but we've constantly got family want to come over. Always, it's like, oh yeah, because it's a cheap holiday for them. They can stay in the guest room and have nothing to pay for other than their flights. So we've got that revolving door, which is good for the wife and the kids and stuff like that, because it keeps them in touch. And I said to my wife, "Is like when we moved out here, we see more of your family now than we did."
Yeah, funny that.
But you do. You're seeing them for 2 weeks at a time, 24/7. And then they go away.
Because when they're there, they're in holiday mode. So hey, let's go out and do karaoke till 2 a.m. and sunbathe all day. And hey, come on, Clarke, let's party. I'm working. Yeah,
that is a bit of a problem. I have to say, I do fall by the wayside sometimes during the summer, because it's like I would be like, oh, I'll have my weekend, I'll have my drink at the weekend, blah blah blah. But when people are in holiday mode, every night's the weekend for them. And so, but you have to just pick and choose. But I just say to them, like Leona and the kids and all the rest of it, they'll join in and whatnot. But sometimes I just say, look, I'm sorry, I'm working. I don't mind taking you somewhere or doing certain things with you, but they have to be scheduled. And you can tell some people are like, oh, it's a bit boring, but I'm like, well, the only reason I'm able to afford to live here and do all these things and blah 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 is because I actually have to work, or want to anyway. But
bills don't get magically paid by themselves, do they?
No, exactly. But
we are almost coming up on time, Clarke. It's just one more topic I wanted to tackle, because obviously you were a fantastic mentor to me nearly 20 years ago now. I absolutely would not be sat here now without you having helped me and showed me the way, because you were that kind of 2 years, 3 years ahead of me on the journey. And you're doing the same now with your children, aren't you?
Yeah, so like a lot of people you'll hear over in Spain especially, there's no jobs for the kids when they're old. There's no jobs, they can only work in a bar or be a waitress or whatever, right? Some nonsense like that. And they'll say that on the internet, or more specifically Facebook. There's no opportunities, and you go, right, you're on the World Wide Web. You do realize it works in every country in the world. It's like, so there's opportunities to be had on it. And so like two of my kids do YouTube, right? One of them's quite successful at it, and he's been getting quite a lot of opportunities because of it. And he earns a ridiculous amount of pocket money for someone his age, but like, good on him. It's like he's got all the best computer gear, the best iPhones, the best everything, but he's paid for, the majority of it himself, and he deserves his rewards for what he done. So with them, I'm kind of like, like I'll say stuff to them, but also listen to their feedback too, because they know things about YouTube and stuff like that I'm not tuned in on. Like what the trends are and what the kids are all doing and blah blah blah. So I will take their lead on these things. But yeah, so basically, I'm helping, like, my son has got a channel called Fraser to the Max, and he's on 43,000 subscribers, I think it is just now, which isn't a huge amount. It is high, but it's not like, like some of the YouTubers that are millions and stuff like that. But you can actually make quite a decent amount of money from it.
How old is Fraser again?
Fraser's 11.
11.
He started
43,000 subscribers at age 11.
And he gets quite a lot of opportunities from it. I mean, we've been to the BBC. We had 2 days training with them. That was quite interesting, seeing how that all worked. He's now on their books for talent, as it were. Unfortunately, the thing that he was getting commissioned for, him and the group of them, it didn't go ahead. It's one of those things. It's like everything in life. It's like they had a business idea, they didn't get past the hires up after so many months, and it didn't go ahead. So that's just one of those things. But equally, he's had other opportunities. He's in a magazine just now. He's got a full page every single month in 110% Gaming, which is a UK-based magazine. You'll find it in all supermarkets like Tesco's and Sainsbury's and so on. So he's got a page on that, and that's opening up extra opportunities for him, because Roblox is what he enjoys doing, and all the developers want to push their game, and they're seeing him, even though he's a small YouTuber, they're going, he's got a page in the magazine. That page in the magazine costs $3,500 if I was to take an advert on it, and he'll talk about my game exclusively. So they're giving them perks and giving them stuff, and then he's got some other opportunities that have come from having a YouTube channel where there's a company, not every month, by the way, but occasionally will pay him $500 to just talk about what he's interested in. It's like 10 hours work a month, $500, and it's like, and all I have to say is, what did you see online? What adverts have you seen? What did you think about them? What are you into? What your current games you're playing? Things he talks about anyway, and they're paying him what is, to me, seems silly, to effectively like a survey, but it's geared towards kids internationally. But they only found out about him because of his YouTube channel and a lot of stuff. I mean, he's got one today from a company in London that looks quite genuine and it looks quite good. I'll have to read the whole thing through though. But basically, they're interested in giving them opportunities. So yeah, so it can be good. So helping the kids out with that, I enjoy it as well. I enjoy doing the YouTube things. I used to be his editor, but I given that away to a much better editor than me. He actually has his own editor, which is quite funny because the guy that is his editor is 22, and he's like, I can't believe that I'm employed full time by an 11-year-old. And you're like, yep. Such is life the way it is. I mean, he loves doing his job, but he actually says to me, he said, I can't believe he was so lucky to get a job like this. This is the best job in the world ever for him, because he's doing what he loves doing, which is editing videos. He's doing it for YouTube, and he's getting to be, relevant to the current climate. So, but yeah, it's a bit, it's different, and one thing I will say, by the way, I don't make my kids do anything. So if they don't want to do it, they're not doing it, right? I'll obviously show them the pluses and benefits of doing certain things, but Fraser's into a routine where he will basically every weekend he'll do his videos for the week ahead, and that's what he does, and he's just used to doing it, and he enjoys doing it. He loves the feedback, he loves all the attention he gets, you know, especially if he goes back to Scotland, he gets mobbed by people in Glasgow. It's like, oh, all the little kids know who he is. You know, like,
it's like a welcome home when he goes to his old class kind of thing, is it?
Yeah. Well,
signing autographs, you know, you can have a selfie if you want.
He visited his old school because his cousins still go to the school and stuff like that. So his cousins have all got the street cred of, oh, you're the cousin of Fraser to the Max and stuff like that. And he's all these little girls that are like, oh wow, Fraser, you're great, and you're like, oh my God, he's alive.
Why wasn't I a YouTuber when I was at school? That was the door I needed to open.
Anyway. But it's an interesting environment. You know, it's one of those ones where if you've got the if you've got the time to do it and your kids are interested in doing it, it's definitely something that I would encourage people to do with them. Just keep in mind that it's not all, you're not guaranteed to be successful, and also there is horrible people on the internet. That's just the way it is, you know. So you should know
the skills he's picking up now already. What's he going to be like when he's 16, 17 and let loose on the big bad world of online business? You know, he's going to be taking over his dad's empire and showing you how to do it properly.
Well, I did say to them, I says, you do realise that when I get older and me and your mum get older, you need to look after us because we've been doing it for you all these years.
And of course, if you don't get this outsourcing boss YouTube channel sorted, he might be running it for you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you never know. It's like that could be an interesting idea. Start outsourcing boss and actually outsource doing everything and not even be in it myself.
Fabulous. Well, thank you ever so much for your time today, Clarke, to this episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. Absolutely great to see you, and great to hear from you.
Yeah, great to catch up again, mate, and we'll speak to you later.
Okay, great. Thanks. See you again.
Bye.
So there we are, another episode in the can. How was it for you? Please let us know. However you listen to these podcasts, please leave a review on that platform. Let us know what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, and how we can improve to make this show even better for you. We'll see you next time.